Good morning. Welcome to the morning chat. Well, I'll give you what's on my mind in the morning time. I hope you all had a restful night's sleep. I think I did. I think it wasn't as good as that Monday night sleep, but it was pretty good. I hope y'all woke up and you're on your way or getting on your way to your workplace. If you're working, get your kids out the door to school if your kids are in school, or whatever you have tasks for today. I hope you got it ready. You ready for your day. Um, no real morning announcements. We're gonna get into it because I've had a lot of stuff on my mind this morning. A lot of stuff. Okay. Um, Kind of piggybacking off of yesterday where I wanted to put on something on my lip on these IG streaks. Okay, so kind of piggybacking off of on why we do what we do. And yesterday I was talking about, well, why do we do what we do? You know, a lot of times we use, oh, I did this in the honor of this, that, and the other, or I do this for my kids. But in actuality, you really just did it for yourself. Your kids didn't ask for you to be gone all day and spending all your time making this big money so that they can be in a big house and drive a car. Your kids, at their core, in the beginning at the very least, they just want you. They want your time, they want your energy. They want you. They don't want all the toys that you buy. They don't want the big house. They would love you and play with you in a little shack. You know, if you're there, you're engaged. You know what I'm saying? Okay, because it's like there's things that we do in the name of love that people don't even ask them for. You know what I'm saying? People don't ask. You you're with your man, and you see that he's struggling. Okay, you're dating a guy, ladies, and you see that he's struggling. You see that he's not eating healthy, so you start buying food with your money. He didn't ask you for this, but you take your money, your hard-earned money, or your food stamps, or whatever, however you pay for groceries, and you go grocery shopping. You bring all this food over there, and he eats up, but he never asked you for it. I did this to take care. Then you want to be mad when he's not grateful that you did it. Did he ask you to do it, ladies? Mm. He didn't ask you to do it. You did it, and you took pity on him, and you fed him, and you expect for him to worship your ground you walk on because you fed him when he was hungry, when he never asked you to. You did it of your own volition. Okay. So stop saying you did it for this person, or you stripping in a strip club because I got kids to feed. There's plenty of other jobs that would have fed your kids. You do not have to be a stripper to feed your kids. You don't have to sell drugs to feed your kids. Hmm. Maybe this is a thought. This is controversial thought. Maybe you shouldn't have had kids that you couldn't take care of. Mm? There is no shortage of condoms out in these streets. Mm? There is no shortage of contraceptives out in these streets. I'm stripping to pay my student loan. I'm paying for school. No, you don't. You want quick money. That's what you want. You selling drugs because I got to pay my rent. I got to pay for where I stay. So you just don't get a job. There's plenty of jobs out there. Okay. They might not be the jobs you want, but they're out there. There's colleges to get the education that you need to get a good job. The same person you selling those that dope to, you might want to say, you got a job. Instead of selling him, what about, do you have a position at your place? Can I get a job where you work? Same as the beggars on the street. Because not every beggar, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't believe that everyone that has that sign up homeless, anything will help. I don't think that they're all homeless. Or maybe they are technically homeless, but tell me, why are you homeless? How'd you get in this position where you have a sign up? You don't have no family that's willing to take you in. None. None. Because the homeless guy that's off the grid, that's sleeping in the tent, they're off the grid. They're not asking you for money. They're doing it. If they're mentally ill, they're in that situation because they believe that that's mentally is where they need to be. You understand what I'm saying? Because in their mind, they believe whatever makes them feel like they need to be in this position. So that leaves mentally ill people and scam artists that's willing to stand out there. And that's and most of them, I think, are drug addicts or they're addicted to something that have them sleeping on the street asking for money. They're drug addicts or alcoholics. They are addicted to something that they gambled it all in order to chase that next high, that next drink, that next high from whatever that they're addicted to. And they have alienated their family, their friends, and now they're in a predicament. This is just what I'm thinking, where they're out on the street and they're begging for money from the kindness of strangers. You understand? Because if you're standing outside of that gas station asking, can I pump your gas for $1? You could have walked into that for the time you took to be standing out there talking about, can you pump my gas for $1? You could have went into that damn gas station and asked, can I out, sweep up, clean up around the gas station for a couple of dollars under the table. You would probably get more money that way. Or would you? Because honestly, at first I was like, they stand out here doing nothing. And I said, no, these con artists out here begging for money, they know exactly what they're doing. They ain't standing out there because it doesn't make no money. They're doing it because it works. It works. It works. And if it's not working, you you are technically mentally ill. You're doing the same thing expecting a different result. That is not the definition of insanity. You want to know the different definition of insanity? We're going to look it up today on my handy dandy computer. Okay, this morning. Let's look up what insanity is, because most says that's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again expecting a different result. No. Now that is crazy. Now don't get it twisted. Your auntie is not saying that that is not the most stupid. Stop calling it insane. It is stupid. You're doing the same thing over and over again. You're on this gerbil wheel doing this, and you're expecting to go move, or you're on the wheel, dummy. You're not going to move forward. You're just going to go around in circles, right? You're going to have to do something different, like get off the wheel and run like that. Unless your purpose is to exercise your body. And the wheel and the gerbil wheel, I would say a gerbil wheel is intended for the gerbil, the hamster, whatever, to exercise. That is the purpose of the wheel, not for them to actually be able to go somewhere with it. Okay? So maybe it's not insanity that you're doing the same thing, expecting a different result, but you're doing the same thing and not understanding what you're doing is for this reason, you know? Not for that. It's for exercise, not for that part. Okay? So, insanity. Now, if it does say doing the same thing, I will sit here and have that pie on my face. Now, the definition, according to dictionary.com, okay, the definition from the Oxford language, it says the state of being seriously mentally ill, madness. He suffered from bouts of insanity, extreme foolishness, or irrationality. It might be pure insanity to take this long. So, doing the same thing and not getting a result is an example of insanity. Okay? It is not the definition of insanity. But it sounds good. It sounds good. It is being seriously mentally ill, mad, or foolish, or irrational. It doesn't make any logical sense why you would think that a person would stand out in rain, sleet, and snow, begging for money, willing to do something strange for a piece of change, as uh, Michael Epps has coined that statement. Okay? And then expected, that's an example. That's irrational. If you're going to go to work every day, you've been working at that job for 10 years and it hasn't made you rich. Why are you going there? Okay? You're not there to be rich. You're there so that you can pay your bills. You're there so that because you didn't have the instructions to do your own thing yet. Okay? Because you didn't have the balls to start your own business. But not everybody is a business person. Okay? Everybody isn't going to be strong enough to start their business. That's why they have big businesses. You know what I'm saying? That's why they are providing jobs for you. The wealthy are the ones that's providing jobs. Okay? Real talk. You know what I'm saying? So this morning chat is kind of going all over the place. I admit it. But oftentimes I want to kind of keep it in that the stupid foolishness that we do as youth, the immature decisions that we make. You know, I have a wonderful son. Okay. He's an adult and he be making some dumbass decisions. Yeah, he do. Yeah, he do. And I want to, ooh, like, what the fuck was you thinking when it comes to my son? And then I'm taken back to when I was 26 and I was 25. And I don't recall making smart decisions either. Okay. We say we're doing it for one thing, but we're not doing it for them. You know what I'm saying? We're doing stuff for us that's gonna please us. Like when I was that age, I was a single mom. So I was dating and I lied to myself, thus lied to everybody else that I'm finding a father for my son. I just want somebody in this with me. Had nothing to do with my son. You know, the stripper girl, you just want fast money. Okay? Just say that shit. I want fast money. Be 100. Be authentic. We believe in being authentic on this channel. Let's be 100. We do stuff and we will put it off on anything that make it look like we're being a noble person. We ain't being noble. We're doing it for our own ego, our own desires. You know what I'm saying? I did kind of go off on a pathway about homeless people, but let's stay on this right here. This is the topic. Let's be authentic. Stop putting off, oh, I'm doing it because my son wanted me to do this. Really? Is he the adult or are you the adult? Who's calling the shots? Really? I'm doing this for my kids. Did your kids say, I want to go to Disney World? Or do you want to feel like you provided the best that you had for your child? Because you don't want them to live like you did. Forgetting that if you take yourself all the way back to a toddler and an infant, you didn't care about what food you ate. You didn't care about what shoes you were wearing and where you lived and if it had roaches and none of that. You was just happy to be with your mommy or your daddy or with them both. You just hated the fact that y'all stayed in the ghetto. So you are saying you're using your children, your family, to say, I'm doing it for them when you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for you. Now, do they benefit because you're doing it for yourself? Hell yeah. And it makes you feel good to say, I provided all this for you. And you don't even appreciate all that I've sacrificed for you. Well, your child is probably looking at, but I ain't asked you to sacrifice all that. I ain't asked you to sacrifice all that. Your child should look at you like, nigga, I didn't ask to be here. You was out there wilding out and got knocked up. Or because those who were planning their children, you understand what I'm saying? Understand that, I want this child. They know they want a child when it's planned. And you want to love them and hug them and squeeze them real tight and raise them and show them how to do this and be the parent that your parents weren't. Or be like your parents. Because some people want to have children because they had a wonderful life and they see how they want to experience the same thing. So it's not always to be a better parent than your parents were. So don't. I don't want to leave it there. But if you've been wilding out, you out here raw dogging, and you get knocked up, and you decide to go ahead and keep the baby, the child did not ask for you to be here. And if you weren't ready, I prefer you to be ready and know that I want this child, not I got this child, so I gotta go in this job and deal with this shit another day. God, why am I still here? Because you want to feel noble. Okay. You want people to look at you and say, look at me. Look at how good of a mom I am. Look at my kids. I sacrificed my life, my life goals or what I want to do so that I can have this child because I didn't believe or I don't believe in abortion. So I'm going to keep this baby and or I could not bring myself to abort this child. And I'll be honest with you, I was out there wilding out and I got knocked up. Okay. And I took on the responsibility of having my son. Was I ready? Did I want him? I mean, I knew in my heart, and he's my only son, my only child that I've given birth to out of my physical womb. Okay. But I wanted him, but it wasn't like I planned him. And that's a whole different thing when you plan it. I'm married, I have a husband, I have my partner, we want a child. So we purposely raw dogging for a purpose. I was out there wilding out and it's like, oh, I got caught, you know? I got caught out there, but I can't the options I had at that time was to abort, give them up for adoption, or have them and raise them myself. I chose to have them and raise them myself. Okay? My son did not ask to be here. Okay? But there was things in my youth that I would say I'm doing for my son. I'm working all these jobs to provide the best that I can for him. I'm going to school for him. And that's a good motivation to do it, to believe that that's what you're doing it for. But you got to be honest with yourself. You're doing it for you. You're doing it because, like, I initially it was for him, but living in a certain place and getting some of the things that I got, that was not had nothing to do with my son. I wanted to feel like the big mom and buy him all these presents until I learned, why am I doing this all by myself? The Holy Spirit showed me early in my son's life. Early. Okay, let me calm down. I just realized, why am I yelling at y'all? Early in my son's life, that I'm not the only one that's going to be giving him gifts. I'm not raising him alone, to be honest with you. He has uncles and aunts and grandparents. He has his father and his side, his uncles and aunts and grandparents on that side. Why am I sitting up here driving myself crazy trying to get Nathan all the gifts on my own, where God showed me how everything I wanted for my son was given to him by a different person in his family. Come on in here. And as much as I want to discredit my son's father because he was not there the way I wanted him to be there, okay? I didn't necessarily need him to be with me, even though in the beginning I was in love with his father. I'm going to be honest with you. But it wasn't that situation, okay? But I realized after he had grown, become an adult, that the real talk is John just wasn't there the way I wanted him to be there, or way society says a father needs to be there for his child. But John provided whenever I needed something. He always sent me the money, no question. You know what I'm saying? No question. John and his side of the family is the one who bought Nathan most of his clothes as he was growing up. I really all I had to do was make sure he had uniforms. His coats, his the coats that Nathan had, dad, dad, dad. I tried to get him a coat and I went cheap. I'm gonna be 100. I was cheap, and that thing was spitting out feathers left and right. Only found out later on that my son is allergic to feathers. Yeah, that coat was coughing up feathers like a cat coughing up hairballs. Yes, okay. It was a cheap down coat. Don't. But all his life, Nathan's always gotten coats and stuff. His father was the one to get it. His first snowsuit was given to us. Okay, you feel me? So all of Nathan's clothes, um, the majority of Nathan's toys during Christmas time came from his father's side of the family. The love and support I feel came from my side of the family. You know, they're the ones that, I feel like they have more than the care and support. Not to say his father's side of the family didn't care and support him, but the nurturing came from my side of the family because that's the way we were raised. You know what I'm saying? But his father took care a lot. Okay. He wasn't there. He wasn't, present, but on the back end as a financial supporter, he was there. Okay. And now that he's older, Nathan has developed his own relationship with his father. You know what I'm saying? And they have their own relationship. You know what I'm saying? And I would never get in the middle of that. But there was things that I said I did for was my son was the motivation, but it was really for me because I was not going to be working three minimum wage jobs just to get by, just to get by. No, that ain't my story. You feel me? So today, take accountability of why you really doing it. Are you really doing it for your kids? Or are you doing it because this is what society expects of you? So you're saying I'm doing it for my kids? Are they the motivation, but not the sole reason why you're doing it? Because someone could motivate you to do it, but they're not the reason why you want this. Okay. Like, I am motivated to do this for my son. I was motivated to go to school, get a degree, go into one field so that I wasn't working different jobs trying to make it just to get by. You know what I'm saying? But that core came from me of what I wanted to do. I just used my son as a motivator. You know what I'm saying? He was the driving force to there was that matter of fact, he wasn't really even the driving force. I was going to do that regardless because I didn't want to be just getting by. That has never been my story, even though most of my life I've been just getting by. And I be having high moments, you know what I'm saying, where I go on vacation or I'm gifted a vacation or I have a large sum of money and I can do more things. But really, I don't want to be that person. Period. That's me. That I'm the motivator. My son was just the booster. You understand? He was the turbo drive to make me really go for it. So he was not the motor, but he was the fuel. There it is. That made that me get on path to doing what I do. What is your real motive? Is it really for your children? Or is this something that you would have done? Are you really doing it for your man? Or this is just your temperament? This is just you. Take accountability for why you really doing it. Tell yourself. You don't have to tell the world. You don't have to tell the world, but just really be honest with yourself on why you really doing what you're doing. If you don't know why and you don't, I I'm doing it for my kids. I said I'm doing. No, I think that's the lie you're telling yourself. Short story. Okay, there's a friend of mine who may or may not be watching this, or may not watch this later. Who he stays with the mother of his child or his children. I'm not sure if they have more than one child. But he claims that he does not have a relationship with this person. I don't know the real truth. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't talk very well about the woman. Um, because his son wanted him to stay because the mother had some issues. Okay. And the son said, Dad, please stay with us. Because, I can't handle mom when she's going through her issues. You know what I'm saying? And he said, so he moved in the house to help out the mom in her issues. There's nothing that man could have done. I said, but I side-eyed the motive. He's saying he's doing it for his son. Because his son asked him to move in. But the issue is not going to be resolved with him moving in. Matter of fact, she's had these issues for the longest time, and no, he claimed that he didn't know that she had these problems. So he was around, and you didn't know they had this. She had this propensity to do what she's doing. I don't believe that is his motive. I believe he's saying that because it sounds more noble to say, my son asked me to stay and I decided to stay. As the adult, it is up to him to have explained to his son, me moving in there is not going to change anything. She's going to continue having that issue until she is ready to give up that issue. You can either move to me in a safe place, or you can stay here and think that you can help your mother, but you cannot help her. I believe bruh man just need a place to stay. And it's better to stay with the devil you know than the devil you don't know. I'm not saying this woman doesn't have her issues. I'm not saying that his son did not ask him, but you ain't gonna have what the issues that she's dealing with. You can't help her. You can't help her. Well, that's all I have for you. Y'all have a wonderful day. I am okay. Um, and if you really, I mean, this is just my opinion. This is what I saw my mind in the morning time. Okay, but I I say to you, I'm gonna leave you with search your soul and be honest with yourself. You don't have to tell nobody. Don't tell nobody. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you, don't tell nobody. Just search your soul. You do the work and really be honest with yourself why you did what you do. Do what you do. Be real with yourself. You could be selfish to yourself. You don't have to tell nobody that I just really wanted me having a child was just a real good scapegoat on why I do what I do. Okay. It makes me look good when I say I'm doing it for my son. Okay. Now, okay, another small story. Okay, so when I moved down here, the lie I told was I moved down here to provide my son a better place to live. It had nothing to do with my son. Now he benefited and he did have better living conditions. I mean, it was more believable from where I left in DC. I was living in Southeast DC. Anybody know about Southeast? Over there, like a block away from Angel Place. Now, it might be a very nice area now, but back in 2003, anybody that's from that area, you kind of know. Okay. Now, it wasn't, to me, it wasn't, I didn't hear gunshots left and right, to be honest with you. And the apartments were renovated when I left there. Okay. But we lived in Southeast DC. And saying moving down to Atlanta, where the cost of living is cheaper. Ooh, excuse me, I have a better opportunity to um, get a better living situation than where I was staying in DC. Okay, and aesthetically and in on paper, it looks. I see why you moved from here to here. But the truth is, I was offered an opportunity to own a house down here the easy way. Like so, I had a family member that was down. Well, I'm sitting. My father lived down here. He offered to sign the house over to me. I moved down here, get me a job. You know what I'm saying? And he would sign the house over to me, which was not completely true. You know what I'm saying? He was expecting me to take over the finances of what it took to run to keep that house. Okay? Yeah. But he wasn't planning on ever leaving that house. But it would be technically mine. I moved down here for selfish reasons because that house was a dream house. When he first got it in the 80s, had a pool in the back, nice. Oh, it was that house was the dream house. Yo, I used to love coming down here and visiting my dad. You know what I'm saying? Two decks, pool in the back, two-car garage, downstairs, completed downstairs with I mean, it was nice. It still is nice. You hear me? So I thought that I had an opportunity of doing it without having to actually get out my own loan and all this stuff and taking on. I thought it was just going to be signed over. He sold me the dream. Okay, my dad isn't that he's not bad. He was just he didn't, and I don't even say he took advantage of it because I think he really intended on doing it. But what he thought was, oh, my daughter's a paralegal, because at this point I had my paralegal degree. And that's what I'm telling him. I got my paralegal degree. I work at a law firm now, but I'm hoping to move up to paralegal. I have my, and I do. I had my paralegal degree from PG Community College. I had my associate's degree. But unfortunately, in this country, a name means more than, where you get your degree from. What type of degree you got makes all the difference. Saying you got an associate's degree from PG Community College doesn't hold as much weight as I have my paralegal degree from Yale. Okay? Just facts. Facts. So he expected that I was going to come down, I was going to make big money, and I was going to save his house, take on the financial responsibility, and he could stay in it until he gets old, because that is the only thing. And it didn't happen that way. It just didn't happen that way. So yes, my son had a better life when he came in compared to where I was living in Southeast, which to me, it's worse than it felt. But if you were to go there, if you go there, someone who lived in the suburbs, you go there, that was a bad neighborhood. Okay? To bring him to East Piedmont, Georgia, where the houses are big and they have pools in the back, when parents are actually a part of the PTA, stay at home moms, they be having brunch. Yeah, that lifestyle, yeah, Nathan had it better, but it wasn't for him. It wasn't for him, it was for me. For me, the opportunity to own this house in my dream house, I've always wanted to own that house until I lived there. And I realized just how much it was to upkeep. Because he still had the pool in the back, but it wasn't being upkept at all. As a matter of fact, it was drained, it was empty. I'm just saying. I told you two truths. One about me, one about a friend. So why are you doing what you're doing? Ask yourself that privately and be honest with yourself. Okay? So now I'm done. Y'all have a good week or rest of the day, because I'm going to be back here tomorrow for the Friday morning chat. And I'm coming back with some juicy juice. All right. Now, y'all have a good one. Remember, love yourself, love your neighbor, and stay authentic. Don't ask your neighbor. Okay, anyway. Anyway. Bye, cow. I'm acting a fool on this Thursday morning. Bye now. Bye.